Hello, thank you for listening to this recorded webinar for MSc Management. My name is Yukari Iguchi. I'm the program leader for this module delivered online. So I'm going to explain about this program in the next 30 to 45 minutes. Okay. So just to start with, I'd like to introduce myself. As I said, my name is Yukari Iguchi. I'm academic lead for hospitality and business. So I am here at the University of Derby managing some of the business programs as well as hospitality programs that are delivered online. I am originally from Japan, but I also lived in the United States just briefly, and then also Switzerland for some years, and then I came to the UK about 20 years ago. So I have quite international experience. I always have worked in the hospitality organizations before I converted almost to the academics, and then because I like people. So my passion is on understanding and developing people. So I'm really, very much enjoying what I do at the university as well. And because of my background and my interests, my research area has been always on the internationalization of higher education, which is focusing on how to help people who are from non-UK background to be succeed in this UK university setting, and then also managing cultural diversity mainly in hospitality organizations, and then workforce skills development. And then here's a photo and brief profile of my colleague, Dr. Olivia Ramsbottom, and she's also the program leader for this program, but that's delivered on campus. So if you decide to come to on campus in Derby and study this program, she will be your program leader. If you're studying online, I'll be your program leader. And then she's also teaching some of the online module, even if you study online and MSc Management. And she has wealth of teaching expertise and then also professional experience. And another colleague you will meet on this program is Dr. Justin Nokoli. He's also really experienced senior lecturer in the business and management, teaching in this field for over 10 years. And as you can see, he's got the research interest in the area, such area as crisis management, resilience, risk management, and knowledge management, strategic management overall. Okay, so that's not the only people who you will meet while you study on this program, and then there will be extended team of the module tutors who are all experienced at the field of management education and business education. Some of us are more specialized in education, while the others have really good and sometimes international business management experience. So you will be supported by the good profile, strong team of academics who understand business education in the UK higher education context. So moving on to some explanation about this program itself. So this is MSc Management, but it is slightly different from typical business or management programs because this is designed for kind of what we call accidental managers or aspiring managers who did not study business or management related subjects for your first degree. But on this program, we will provide you with a high-level grounding in skills and understanding of business and management field, because you have some work experience, hopefully by now, and then you aspire to be a good manager. You may come from different backgrounds, for example, fashion design or nursing or engineering, and you did actually not study management in more like academic and structured manner, but now you're in a position you want to know more about it because you have been promoted to be a, for example, team leader or manager, or you want to have your own business and hire more people. And so this, if that's the the situation you are in, and this is the right program for you. And then on this program we would do our best to develop skills to effectively and responsibly manage to lead the team and organization. You will notice there will be lots of emphasis on the leadership and the management on this program, really, because that's why lots of people feel challenged. You know your job and your organization, but the big question is how you can actually lead and the team of the people or the group of people to achieve the business goal, and that's what we focus on in this program. So this is new program. We have just launched this September for the first time online. And then, so that means, this program has been designed really recently. So, we have developed this program post-Brexit and the post-COVID context. And so we are addressing a series of challenges of management and the managers in, 2020s and beyond, really. And then we use lots of, real world end of program research projects. And you can do your dissertation in more academic way, but you also will do or you have opportunity to do some sort of consultant type of an approach, and you actually look at the real problem within your organization if you're employed at that point, and then work on how to resolve that matter by looking at cause and root cause analysis, and what sort of theory can help structure and those solutions. So this is a real world management program for non-management graduates, but in the business area, really, and the business field, and hopefully you will enjoy learning the new kind of more structured theories and models and techniques and that sort of thing to improve your professional capability, ability, and performance. So this is the brief structure, really just the module titles and of what you will study. So when you study online, you are classed as part-time student because you don't come here and study 40 hours a week. But you will do roughly probably half of it at a time. So considering that we structure this program to take about 2 to 3 years, and this is what we call the standard route, because we recognize most of the online students are currently employed, so you cannot study full-time, and you cannot study full-time while you're employed full-time. It's going to be way overloaded. So we kind of stretch it thin and long periods, and to have year 1, 2, and 3 to complete MSc program. So the year 1 consists of 3 modules because we have 3 intakes, so January, May, and September. And then depending on when you study, when you start, and then you have that module. No module actually have the prerequisites, so you can study those modules in any order other than independent study that needs to become to the end. So it doesn't really matter whether you start in January, May, or September, and then you will start with the module that's running in that trimester. So for example, if you are starting in January, you will start with this year 1 module in the middle, the changing business environment and leading strategically. So this will be your first module, and then in summer you move on to global supply chain management, and then in September you do contemporary management and leadership thinking and application, and then you move on to year 2 starting with risk management, and then strategic financial performance management and leading, managing, developing people, before you move on to dissertation period, independent study, which can be more like consulting project or typical academic dissertation. So it will take about 3 years, and then especially in the diploma stage, you will share some of the modules with MBA students. So you may find the your first module, other than this global supply chain management, which is also the module shared with MBA, and you will find some modules with smaller cohort. The other modules are much larger cohort, and then you might notice a slightly different student profile, which is a good thing because you get exposed to wider range of students and with different skill set and knowledge and experience. So this is what we call the standard route. So you're doing 1 module at a time to complete your master's degree in 3 years. And then this is what we call the accelerated route, which allows you to complete your master's degree in 2 years, because you will do 2 modules at a time in the first year. So you will do contemporary management, leadership thinking, application, and strategic and financial performance management in autumn, and then changing business environment and risk management in spring, which is January, and then global supply chain management and leading, managing, developing people in summer, and then you move on to independent study. And year 2 is shown in 3 blocks, but basically this is one module, and then you allocate it to supervisor, and then you work closely with that person. So this is the accelerated route. So overall, you can finish this program in either 3 years or 2 years. We usually recommend 3 years, and so that you can juggle. You're a mature professional quite often, so you have this study and your job and your family, and of course you have some room to breathe. So we don't really suggest you kind of jump into the deep end and then struggle with the workload. It can be flexible, so you can start with 2 modules because you're so confident, but you can change your route to standard, and then you kind of move on to just 1 module at a time, and that sort of study pattern. Or you can do the other way around, which is more probably suggested. And so you can start with just 1 module, and after you know what to do, and then you get good orientation of the course, kind of digital campus. And then you can actually increase the module to 2 modules from following trimester. So that's the flexibility we can give you, and then there's a benefit of studying online as well. So as I said, we take trimester system, starting in September, January, and May. And then each term or trimester consists of 10 weeks. So it's usually starting at the end of that month. So, the end of September, the end of January, or the end of May. And then running for 10 weeks. So we are usually finishing early December and early April or early August. Each module, other than this station, award you 20 credits if you pass all the assessments. And in the UK higher education context, 20 credit means approximately 200 hours study time. The time including doing reading and doing wider research, and as well as working towards your assignments towards the end of the trimester. So this is why we only recommend you to do 1 module at a time, because we have 10 weeks and you should be spending about 200 hours in total. That means you should be really, as an expectation, on average about 20 hours a week. So if you do 2 modules, that's going to count as 40 hours a week, which is equivalent to full-time students, which is quite a lot really. And so you might feel okay at the beginning, but you might just struggle. You just need to remember this is a program many students actually study as a full-time student, so it is not like evening course. It needs some commitment, your time and motivation, which can be the most challenging, and effort. But again, in exchange you get the access to all the university facilities, including libraries and other services I'm going to explain later. And also the program team quite often organizes, for example, guest lecture. You also meet your peer, the other students on the program, and who are actually professional in different areas. So as a university kind of business school department, we have linked to all these major names, and then regularly we have some sort of the guest lecture and opportunity to interact with those people, and then alumni as well. So we have quite good high-profile partnership, which will give you more real life scenario in the business education. And then when you enroll in this program to study online, and then start studying, and you will see all the contents. So how it works is that you will have the access to those unit materials that consist of, as you can see, like diagrams, texts, and the videos, and then some interactive discussion board activities. And then the one you are seeing on the top right hand side is what we call the Padlet. It's a bit like online the pinboard, and so you can actually put your notes and or question or your answer, your thoughts, and that sort of thing, and you can actually interact with each other anyway. So we don't have weekly lecture. That means you are free to decide when and where to study as long as you have access to the internet, or you even can actually download those unit materials. So if you prefer that, you download it, either print it out or save it onto your tablet, and you go through it while you're commuting or on your lunch break, times. But there will be some interactivities, quite often on the discussion forum, and then we will also run the live sessions. So before I move on to explaining about these live sessions, I would like to explain how you are going to pass the module through the assessment. So each module has either one or two assessments, which doesn't sound like a lot if you are from different type of education system, but that means each assessment has quite heavy weighting. So if you fail, if you have only one assessment on the module, and if you fail it, you fail the module. So you need to put lots of effort, and you need to plan early and work towards it. But to help you to do so, weekly activities like discussion forum and other exercises will help you towards completing those assessment work. And we don't have any exams on this program. It's going to be all coursework, assignment work. It's usually 3,000 to 4,000 words assignment work in different formats. And then when you have two assessments, as you can see, the CW1 means coursework 1. The first assessment is normally just halfway through the module, and so quite often week 5, but it can be as late as week 8. And the coursework 2 is due soon after all the delivery period of the 10 weeks ended. So it's quite often about the end of week 11 or beginning of week 12. We have quite a strict policy on the missed deadlines, although we have this RAC system, which is request for the additional consideration. So if you are in a difficult situation, for example, you have been assigned to the international project, and then you have to travel, and then you didn't have internet access, and you couldn't study for a couple of weeks just, and then you can actually apply for the extension. Or if you have been ill and being in the hospital, or you broke your wrist, they're all unfortunate scenario, but it does happen to many of our students because we are mature professional, living in the real world. And if you encounter those issues, and you can apply for the extension or consideration for your grades. And most of the coursework is individual, but on some modules there is an element of group work as well. But your assessments are going to be in a variety of forms, so it's not just like an academic essay or report, but you can also or you will also work on the research proposal and business plan proposal and some presentations and all those things. So you will develop and you will use the range of other skills than just simple academic writing skills, which should help you to develop your professional skills as well. And then, as I said, you will meet your peer online, and then you will interact with them. And then we have on the business program, we normally have about 50 to 75% of the students living in the UK, and then also those who are living in the UK may not be the British. So the online doesn't have any border as long as you have internet access. And then you may be interacting with someone from Botswana, and then another person from Brazil, and then you might be living in Thailand, and that's always possible. And then that's one of the reasons why we don't do those weekly lectures, because it's going to be difficult for the people in the different the time zone to attend regular sessions that could be 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, so you will actually can develop the professional or at least the academic network of the global locations. And then once you complete your study, you enhance your potential, and so you may be able to progress in your career. So obviously you will be more confident with your management and leadership skills, and then business knowledge really. And you maybe also now qualify for the job that require more broader management skills and knowledge really. Or you may actually change your mind, so they actually enjoyed doing research and studying, so I might just do the doctorate qualification. So we also have PhD, we also do deliver DBA. So you might just want to consider. And then if you progress within the University of Derby, whether you do on campus or even online, and then you get alumni discount, and then the system, you are familiar with the academic regulation, some people, so it may be a good choice, although you can go to other institutions. Of course, this is recognized master's degree in the UK university, so it's recognized globally. Or some people actually always move on to some sort of teaching and training kind of jobs, or move on to consultancy. You may even decide to and start up your own business, having gained knowledge and more about the confidence quite often about the business and management. So this is good opportunity to transform your future as well. And then you will have this cloud campus, which includes everything almost. You can experience in the physical university building, other than obviously student bars and that sort of thing, but you will have the access to your local and the bars and restaurants and pubs you love, because you don't have to leave your own location. So in order to maximize this opportunity to develop yourself through studying on this program, there are some hints and tips really. So what we usually or quite often advise our students is, although it is flexible in terms of when and where you can study, it is always good to create a space to study. It doesn't have to be just one place in your house, but it can be like local cafe or anything. And ideally you kind of go into the routine. For example, you may be working in shift work, so sometimes you work early, sometimes you have to work late, but you can kind of create some sort of rule by yourself to say, for example, on my lunch break I will look at this study materials at least for 20 minutes. Or and when I come home I will have a cup of coffee or quick drink, but I will sit and then complete at least one activity, learning activity, that sort of thing. And then ideally you should protect around 20 hours per week for the reason I explained earlier. It doesn't have to be 20 hours a week every single week, and then that's the flexibility of online learning and not having a weekly lecture. So you can actually try to have complete 2 units in a week instead of one. And then because next week you have some important business trip, or you have some family commitment, or anything really. As long as you can complete those roughly 200 hours within 10 weeks and then submit the assignment and pass, and then that's fine. You even may not need 20 hours a week. It really depends on your current existing skills, knowledge, and your time management skills as well, and that sort of thing. But it is strongly recommended you regularly engage. So you can't just try to finish everything in the first 3 weeks and then just leave everything until week 9. You should have little and often type of approach rather than chunks in a short burst. And then we will normally send you at least weekly announcement message from the module tutor, and then there is a range of quite important message sent to all the students, for example about the graduation or the end of the term, or some hints and tips about and how what you need to remember when submitting the assessments, that sort of thing. And then they will normally go to your university's email account. So you just set up on your mobile phone something to access it. It's part of Office 365, so it's nothing complicated. And you can access it from either on the web browser or from the Outlook app. And then, as I said, you should plan early, and then access or engage with the learning activities little and often and regularly. Don't leave the assignments to the last minutes, because you never know until you actually start and finish and how well you can do. And you think, oh, I can just spend 3 hours tomorrow to write these 3,000 words because I have done it before. And you might just get really confused about the topic or requirements, or you think you got it right, but because you didn't double check with the tutor, and then it might turn out you did something completely wrong. You want to avoid that sort of situation. So start early and then keep asking questions to your tutor. That's what tutor is there for. Okay, so as I said, you should be interacting with your peer as well as your tutor and some other university services like library through the range of tools, really. So there is a list of these the tools we can use to communicate with each other within this learning community. And as I said, the discussion forum would be the main one, because that's where most of the learning activities are placed. But there is also what we call the cafe forum, which is more for the socialization purpose, and the FAQ threads, which is to ask the question about the module or module assessment. And this actually saves everyone's time, because you may want to just email your tutor. Our email policy is to get back to you within 2 working days. So you may have to wait for up to 2 hours or 2 days or 48 hours. But if you just check on these FAQ threads, there may be similar or even same question already asked and answered by the tutor. So when one person asks a question, that helps everyone, and then also saves tutors time, because quite often we receive the same question from 5 different people and we have to get back to each one. But using the FAQ thread really is efficient way to get the answer to your question quickly and help each other. And then email, as I said, is the Outlook, what we call the Unimail. That's the University of Derby email address. And that's where you receive all the essential communications. And then if you want to communicate about your personal or confidential matters with your tutor, and then by any means, you should be communicating with tutor using emails, and then maybe you can arrange the phone calls or the video chat and that sort of thing. And then at least 3 times each term, so every 10 weeks, you will have the 3 what we call live sessions on the module platform, which is a Blackboard. And then there may be additional drop-in session. You can just pop in there and ask the question live. Usually those live sessions are recorded, so as I say, some people can't attend those live sessions because of the time zone, because of work commitment, because of the family matters or anything. And we understand that it's not compulsory to attend, although it is beneficial to attend. So for those people who can't attend, they're all recorded so that you can go through it later and ask questions FAQ or by emails. And then obviously, as I say, we can call us, or we can arrange the virtual meeting. So there's lots of ways to communicate with us, so you don't have to kind of think you are just sitting there on your own and then you have to solve all the problems by yourself. We are all here to help you, and your peers are there to help each other, so you can help them and then they can help you as well. And then in addition to your peer and your tutor, you have the program leader, me, and then online learning advisors who gives you more admin side of advice. So for example, how to pay the fee or how to apply for this request for the additional consideration, and then how to enroll on your next module, such and such. And then there is also a department called the Student Service that includes student well-being. They also do a lot about mental health care. So they also have the referral to the professional counseling service, like remote counseling service and that sort of thing. So if you suffer with that sort of thing, and then if you feel you could do with a bit of additional support, and you can contact them. And if you have any disability, for example dyslexia, or something that stops, mobility issues that stops you from using keyboard or anything, and then they may be able to give you some sort of specialist equipment or some sort of advice and support. They also do financial matters. They can give you some financial advice as well. So if you are feeling any sort of, other than academic matter, really, any sort of difficulties outside, or I don't understand this module's material, that's for the tutors. But other things, I'm, struggling a little bit about my health or mental health or finance, or, I have disability and that sort of thing. Student well-being can be really helpful. And obviously you have library, which I'm going to explain later. And we also have career office, which can help you, for example, brushing up your CV or interview skills and that sort of thing. And, obviously, as a University of Derby student, you are the member of Student Union, who can organize a range of events on and offline, really. And you can be the course representative to talk to university on behalf of your peer, if you like. And you have obviously access to this Office 365. You actually have massive storage space of 1 terabyte. And obviously this is available to you only when you are studying here, but you don't have to worry about where to save your coursework or any sort of notes you have taken, or something you download and then you might want to keep because it might come handy later for your assignment, that sort of thing. And you have 24/7 access to student portal, which is digital campus and virtual learning environment. And as I say, we are all here to help you, and this is why we call ourselves your support network. And you are paying the fee to get all those support. So don't be shy, and please contact us if you need us, or even if you're not sure if we can help. You don't lose anything by just asking, really. So as I mentioned, we have the library, and then this photo is the physical the library we have at the Keddesden Road main campus. But you also have even bigger, actually, resources online. And so all the reading list for each module is available online, and then you can also receive some library service. We have the subject librarian who can help you to find specific resources you are looking for. And there is also a series of online sessions and materials as well, and to find information or use information or brush up your academic skills, like how to do the research, how to write academically, and how to work in groups and that sort of thing. So please again use those resources, and this is part of your fees, really. So when everything is finished, you will be invited to the what we call the award ceremony, graduation ceremony in Derby. We don't have the capacity to hold all the ceremonies on campus, so we hire actually the local venue to hold the ceremonies. But this is probably the only time, quite often, for you to come and visit Derby. You can also visit the campus and then meet your tutors who's you've been talking with in the last 3 years or so, or even 2 years, like including myself. Maybe it's always nice to see people in face, and then you will be sitting per program when you graduate. So usually the person sitting next to you in the venue is the person you already know by the name, because you have been interacting on the discussion forum and everything. And you may be coming from South Africa, and the person might be coming from Japan even. And this is really exciting day, and as you can see, lots of graduates travel with the almost entire family to celebrate the special day. So I do hope to meet you there when you complete your study. So this is the end of kind of explanation of this program. So the next step for you is to go back to the website and check for the entry criteria to see if you are qualified almost or eligible to apply for this program. Please note, this program is for the people who didn't study business or management. So it can be any other subject areas other than business or management or related, really. And then you also obviously need to know how much you need to pay, which is quite expensive, important. But again, as I almost said, expensive. It's not cheap, I have to say. But there is a range of payment plans, so you don't have to pay all the fees up front. You can almost like pay as you go and type of the plans and everything. So information is on website. And then you can also check the deadline for the next intake application and then start date as well. So please go to www.derby.ac.uk/online. So this is the end of this recorded webinar. So thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you found it useful. And as I said, we are always here to help you, even before the application. So if you have any questions, please email us. To start with, please just email your inquiries at derby.ac.uk as shown on the page. You can call us as well, and then depending on the type of the inquiries, you might be directed to me, and then we can start chatting. Right, okay, so thank you very much, and I look forward to receiving your application. Thank you.